We're on with sound. Right. Ani, bonsoir, and welcome to our regular council meeting as we normally do. The first meeting of the month is being chaired by the deputy mayor, so I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Peugeot. As we begin tonight, I would like to read the Indigenous land acknowledgement. I'd like to begin the meeting by acknowledging that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area and wish to recognize the neighboring community of Doki's First Nation. While we meet today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nation peoples that call this land home. So, we will start with the adoption of the agenda. We do have an addition. So we will be adding 6.1.3 flood condition update. So I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Bob and Councillor Will. All in favor? Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interests? Seeing none. Any delegations tonight? No, none. All right, so we will start with 6.1. So general government, 6.1.1, an update, proposed closure of the OPP Nuwabo detachment, and I believe Mayor Peugeot will speak on this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick recap. At the last council meeting, had reported that we had met with the Solicitor General and the Deputy Solicitor General, who assured us that they would look into our concerns and would be meeting with the Deputy Commissioner of the OPP. And true to his word, last week received a call from Chief Superintendent Mike Pilon, who invited us to meet with him to talk about ways to keep the OPP station open, and that he had been directed to work with Infrastructure Ontario so that we could get more information as to what is legally required for us to have an OPP detachment, whether we look at building a new one, certainly not the Taj Mahal of Cache Bay, but certainly maybe a hybrid detachment. Or he even suggested that they would look at renovating the current OPP station. So there was a lot of work to do. This is excellent news for us, a lot more than I expected at this point. And so the next steps now are to wait for the chief superintendent to get back in touch with us, at which time a meeting will be called between the government, the municipality, and the OPP to talk about the different options that are available. And one of the questions that we will need to answer is how long will it take from shovel in the ground, basically, to the opening of the detachment? So I took that as a very good sign. Now, that doesn't mean it's a for sure thing, 100%, nothing for sure except taxes and death. And but until we get it in writing that this is happening, I'm feeling very optimistic. And certainly we should not let the pressure off the government to ensure that we do go through it. So good news all the way around. One of the things that's I'm very grateful for is that the campaign, the letter campaign, had a big effect from the businesses and from individuals. It hit a core. Also from the map. Thank you, Carly, and that up for doing that. because that's where they saw the vast area that needs to be covered by our officers currently now. That's, you know, it'll be even worse if they have to report to Sudbury or to Cache Bay. So stay tuned. As you know, the government does not move very quickly. And so we don't expect Chief Superintendent Pilon to get back to us within the next couple months. I would say at least a couple months before they get all the information that we need to have in order to put our plans together. So that's my report.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Giselle? Go ahead, Will.
I would like to add, last night we had a meeting with the chamber and I brought this update to their attention. It's the time of year that we have our residential population starting to come back in. I'm thinking maybe we should, as a municipality, renew the attention to the OPP station condition. If we can maybe put a flyer out, Facebook and on our webpage, and then the chamber could then share and other people can share that again, do another drive notifying people that the OPP may be leaving this area.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Go ahead, May.
I think that's a good idea because we should keep it in the forefront, because if it's not too much in the forefront, then it becomes forgotten. And certainly we don't want it to be forgotten. And you're right, Willie, that our seasonal residents are starting to migrate back home, and we need to bring them up to date as to what we're doing. So I don't have a problem with it.
Councillor Bob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say thank you to you, Madam Mayor, to being the point of the spear on this project and going forward and putting council's views out there. We have a great ambassador. Thank you.
I'll third it. Thank you for your many hours and your digging techniques of finding information and emails and phone numbers and contacts and creating, having us meet, implicating our MPPs. I think, and the people that wrote letters, I think it's great. It was good support and it's great news, and hopefully it continues. And that obviously we've been heard, so that is really good. One more thing, go ahead.
The most important thing, I can't believe I forgot. So the closure, which was set to be June 30th of this year, which was moved to September 30th of this year, is now on a cautionary hold. So there's no date for any closures. So that's really good news.
All right, so we'll continue on with 6.1.2 Seniors Month proclamation. So I believe, Mel, do you have? I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Dave and Councillor Roger.
It is duly moved and seconded, whereas Seniors Month is an annual province-wide celebration, and whereas seniors have contributed and continue to contribute immensely to the life and vibrancy of the municipality of French River, and whereas seniors continue to serve as leaders, mentors, volunteers, and an important and active member of our community, and whereas their contributions past and present warrant appreciation and recognition, and their stories deserve to be told. And whereas the health and well-being of seniors is in the interest of all and further adds to the health and well-being of the municipality of French River. And whereas the knowledge and experience seniors pass on to us continues to benefit all. Be it resolved that council hereby proclaims June 2023 as Seniors Month in the municipality of French River and encourages all citizens of our community to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of our seniors.
All in favor? We'll continue on to 6.1.3 flood water levels update. And I believe Councillor Dean will give us an update on the water levels.
We have a lot of water. But it's nothing new here. It's just that it seems to come a little more often than it normally did. Usually it's about 20 years between floods. On the other hand, we're not at a flood level yet. We're at very high water levels and we're seeing some damages from it, but not at a flood level yet. And we're hoping that that's going to remain the case. That the whole watershed has a lot of water and we've been getting a lot of rain, which has added to all the problems with it. Snow melt is pretty well finished, I think, in the northern part of the watershed. So now it's mostly just the rainwater that we're dealing with. Lake Nipissing is high, but it's not at a flood level yet. It's not far from it. Here in the French on Dry Pine Bay, we've got a situation where we're into what used to be our old flood level, but it's holding steady right now. I think the people manipulating the dams up on Lake Nipissing are holding more water in the lake to give us a chance to get rid of our local inflows that came from all the rain we've had the last few days. The outlook is well, you never know. The weather forecast is better as we're looking ahead. They're warmer and some sunshine and perhaps an end of most of the rain. I think there's some forecast for a little bit of rain possible yet towards the end of this week. But in any event, the situation is there are people who are now hurting a little in our area down here, but it could be a lot worse, and we're hoping that it doesn't get any worse. So I guess that kind of summarizes. Maybe Mark, if you want to add anything to it.
Just a little bit of technicalities. We received 50 to 70 millimeters of rain in the watershed over the past 5 days. 7 days ago, Dean, if you recall, we had a conference call and everything was looking rosy, and the discharge at the dams was held because of this system coming through. We're projecting the water levels to plateau today into tomorrow morning and slightly declining over the next few days. And then just to reassure residences, the emergency fire department through our fire chief, Arak, who's also our community emergency management coordinator, does daily trips to the potential affected areas. So we monitor the situation on a daily basis and report that information to the dam operators and MNRF as well, just to keep them abreast of what we're dealing with and what's happening. Again, we're grateful that we have a 7-day window of opportunity of nice weather coming through. So give us an opportunity to get our local flows through and then concentrate on the dams from there.
And I should add just one thing, and I think it's a good thing for everyone to be aware that we're getting a lot of consideration at the dams up in Lake Nipissing, a lot more than we used to get in this area when they just did whatever they wanted. Now, the people that are operating the dams are obviously being very careful as to how they manipulate them with a view towards trying to not damage any part of the watershed, at least from Lake Nipissing down this way, without keeping it kind of equal. In other words, if we're going to hurt down here, they're going to be hurting on Lake Nipissing too. So I think it's a good sign that we're getting this consideration that used to not exist. So, and it's very important that we do that. And interestingly enough, the people on Lake Nipissing agree to that. Most people up there are not saying dump water down the river anymore. They don't do that kind of thing or say that anymore. And now it's everybody recognizes that if we're going to be suffering, we're going to suffer together. I'll leave it at that.
just one final thing. We will be issuing a communique tomorrow with information for residents in terms of the conditions, in terms of our strategy for sandbagging, if we ever do get to that. We're not there yet, as Councillor Dean said. And there's also an opportunity that we'll be trying to educate people who are using the waterways with their boats to be mindful of wakes, creating wakes and debris floating in these high water levels. And there'll be also information on how you can download our municipal app or sign up for the e-news to be able to get any information that we post going forward automatically on your mobile devices or your emails.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Dean or Mark? No, seeing none, we'll continue on. 6.2 finances, 6.2.1, we have the quarterly report. And I believe Mark Fleury, our treasurer, is online. And are you going to give us a brief report, Mark?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On March 15th, the council approved both the operating capital budgets for 2023. And we're also in the annual year-end audit mode. So the auditors are on site or virtual on site anyways for the financial audit, and with the goal of getting the 2022 financial statements, audited financial statements approved by council in next council meeting on May 16th or and then the next one in 2 weeks. And also just to reiterate, the 2023 interim tax bills were late, mailed late because there was the technical issues for printing, and we were able to fix those issues, and those bills were sent a month late. So we adjusted the deadlines for those bills. So the first deadline was April 26th, which is last month, and the next deadline for the second installment is May 24th, which is in a few weeks. For the operating budget for the first quarter, again, the budget was approved on March 15th. So the results 16 days later, March 31st, we're in line with budget at this time. So there's really nothing exceptional to note for the first 3 months.
Thank you, Mark. Does anybody have any questions for Mark? No, seeing none. Thanks, Mark. Hope you feel better.
Yeah, getting there.
All right, so we'll continue on to 6.3, Public Works and Environmental Services. Kevin is not here today. But we do have some resolutions, I believe. Oh, Bob is here. Sorry, Bob. 6.3.1, we have a resolution to award the purchase of a Public Works tandem truck. So are you going to speak to this, Bob, please?
Yes, well, through the chair. So our 2012 Freightliner is due for replacement. So we issued tenders on April 12th. We only got one bid from Freightliner North Bay for $337,678. So it's recommended that council approve the or award the tender to Freightliner of North Bay for that amount. And of note, the budget was for $400,000 for this truck, so it came under budget.
I need a mover and a seconder. Questions?
Do we have a delivery date on this, or
It was December 2023.
December 20th? Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Dave.
Thank you through you, Chair, Madam Chair. Does that include like all new plow and on it and box, everything?
Everything.
Everything? Okay, thanks. You.
Is that a good price?
Yeah. Under budget.
It is under budget, yes, I know, but I don't normally go out and buy a tandem truck. So I don't know,
Well, just the truck, it's expensive. With everything.
yeah. So.
It is moved and seconded, be it resolved that council awards the purchase of a new tandem snowplow truck sander to Fretliner North Bay for an amount of $337,678 plus applicable taxes.
Bob?
So we put out a capital road tender for Gene Woodville and Mercer. We had 3 bids come in. For it is recommended to council to award the realization of Part A, which is Gene Street and Woodvale Crescent, to B. Thomas Bulldozing for the amount of $253,110 plus taxes. And Part B, which is Mercer Road, to French River Contracting for the amount of $181,77.03 plus taxes.
Any questions for Bob? Seeing none, I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Roger and Counselor Dean.
Is duly moved and seconded. Be it resolved that council awards the contract for the rehabilitation of roads, Part A, so for Gene Street and Woodville, to B. Thomas Bulldozing for an amount of $253,110 plus applicable taxes, and Part B, which is Mercer Road, to French River Contracting Limited for the amount of $181,077.03.
All in favor? Good. If I just may, just real quick, so the budget for those 3 roads was 690,000? Is there more roads to be done, or is that was the budget for those 3?
Madam Chair.
Yep.
So yes, our budget was $690,000. Treasurer could have answered this too. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, we issued a tender for double surface treatment for certain roads. That one came over a little bit of our projections. With these savings in these ones, we'll be pretty well right on target with the 690 between all the double surface treatment and these 3 road constructions. If I recall, I think the treasurer told me we're sitting about 693, somewhere around there.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So
You're correct.
great assessment in projections from our staff.
Good, thank you. So we'll continue on to 6.4, recreation and community services. 6.4.1, we have a resolution to assist with food, forest, and trees. So Carly will do the report on this, but I believe I need a mover and a seconder before she, no, after? Okay.
Okay, so on March 2nd, the municipality received a letter from VIA just requesting assistance in helping to water the food forest that was installed last year, as well as the trees along the walking trail. So they're asking that staff, Parks and Rec, initially they wanted us to water 1 to 2 times a week, but through further discussions that we had on April 12th, better understanding what they wanted from us, they want us to do a deep water at least once a week, twice a week, or up to 3 times a week if there's a major drought, just to make sure that the plants have as best of an opportunity to survive for the first 2 years as possible. So this is just a report explaining what exactly was asked of staff in the letter, as well as the budget implications of staff helping for each year, and that we recommend that council approve that staff assist via for at least the first 2 years, just to ensure that it does well.
Anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Counselor Dean.
I'm just going to comment and say that I think that that's kind of expensive to water some trees and plants. $4,000 a year. I was even wondering, as I read this earlier today, that whether or not we might contract that out to somebody with a pickup truck and a few water pails and do that. But it just seems to me that $4,000 a year just to water some trees and plants seems excessive. It's not, and it's a limited number of them. There's not even that many of them.
Sorry,
But
that-
I'm not going to say yes or no. I just been making that comment. So
Yeah, sorry, let me just rephrase. It's not just for Noel, it's Noel and Albans Food Forest. So it would be the both of them. the truck, the staff, yeah, for we roughly about an hour a week.
Go ahead, Mark.
Just another comment is, we've already equipped the Parks and Rec truck to water the current beautification projects and the nice planters that you see. So as they're doing their trips with the planters, they run in and are able to take care of those things as well at the same time. There's been a lot of money invested in those trees and plants in donations, and we want to make sure that they thrive, and once they mature, then there will be less maintenance required.
Yeah, the last year in the fall, yeah, so Lizette's group and I know the Cais Popular Alliance paid for a lot of the trees also. They did gave a big donation for that. They came and planted in the rain. There is quite a few of them out there, so they'll be nice once they do start growing, but we do know that the 2 first years they just need to get their roots settled in the ground, and then after that, they're good to go, right? So so we have a resolution. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Will and Counselor Dave.
Duly moved and seconded, resolved that council approves that staff assist with the watering of the food forests in Albin and Noelville, minimum of once a week for the next 2 years, to be scheduled with VIA upon approval.
All in favor? Okay, we'll continue on to 6.5, Emergency and Protection Services. 6.5.1, we have the quarterly report by Chief Rock. Are you giving the report? Oh, that's bylaw. Emergency and Service Protection. Oh, yes, got it. Sorry, I've had a long week, Sorry, and Kevin isn't here. So I'm not sure if anybody, have you had a chance to read the report? It is. If anybody has any questions, being none, I need a move. No, we're good. 6.6, Building and Planning and Development. We have nothing to say there. 6.5.2, the Fire Department. Oh my God.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fire Department first quarterly report. Fire Department responded to 21 emergencies in the first quarter, or bulk of it was motor vehicle accidents on Highway 64 and Highway 69. Burn permits, we only issued 2. Inspections, we completed 3 inspection and we have a total of 7. Training sessions, we completed 8 training sessions. Most of it were our emergency first responder training. Equipment check was normal as 6. Agreements, we had 1 mutual aid activation with St. Charles for a structure fire in Noelville. Our recruitment, 1 new recruit in Albin. Fire department update, we responded to a double fatal structure fire in January. Also in January, we responded to an arson fire as well. We also have 1 fully certified fire department instructor, which will instruct our firefighters to potentially a level 1 firefighter, level 2, as we move on with full certification. Also in March, we had 5 firefighters attend a Northeastern Fire Education Conference in Huntsville. Any questions?
Go ahead, Mayor Pejto.
I just have a comment. I noticed that in our first quarter, we beat all of 2022 in major incidents.
Yes, an
Wow.
increase. Well, were mostly motor vehicle accidents, and plus this is our new agreement with EMS, where
Oh.
if they're called out to a motor vehicle accident, we're responding as well.
Oh, you're
So there's
responding at the same
no
time.
more delays.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right.
Does anybody else have any questions for Rock? Okay, seeing none, thanks, Rock.
Thank you.
6.6, Building Services, there's nothing right now. 7, Correspondence. We have a resolution to declare the French River Family Ball Tournament being held August 11th, 12th, 13th, 2023 as a community event of the municipality significance. So I believe I need a mover and a seconder, Counselor Bob and Counselor Roger.
Duly moved and seconded, be it resolved that council declares the French River Family Ball Tournament being held August 11th, 12th, 13th, 2023 as a community event of municipal significance. So this assists them with their liquor license.
All in favor? Okay, we have 8, the consent agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Dave and Counselor Dean.
It is moved and seconded, but resolved that council approves the items of the consent agenda under section 8.1 and receives the items under 8.2.
Okay, all in favor? Good. There is no items separate. Any notices of motion? Seeing none. Announcements and inquiries. I guess we'll start with Counselor Roger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to talk a little bit about the French River Food Bank. Since, over the last few years, it has become a very important part of French River in helping our community. And maybe I would like to see an item or itemized as part of the meeting, towards the end of the meeting, so that we could report what's ongoing. And the people of French River would know and maybe possibly help us out with donations. So we can further basically the food bank, and because our numbers are still very high. And it's just to get better service. We could put a report out at every meeting.
A good idea. Are you going to give us a report, Roger, every month, if we put you on there? Okay. So we'll keep that in mind. I think everybody's in favor of that, getting a report and. Okay. Counselor Bob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of items. A reminder that May 18th is Economic Partners AGM in Certain Falls. I believe the total council has been invited. It's an AGM, but it's also a nice little social to meet neighboring councils on a even platform and being sometimes to discuss stuff that wouldn't be otherwise. Second thing, our Earth Day was a great success. Our go-to main event at the arena, Earth Day flea market yard sale was, we had 21 exhibitors. From what we counted, people registering, we had over 300 people visiting the site. Everybody was quite happy. We had suggestions. Are you going to do this every week? The answer was no, but that was a great success. We have, with Mayor Pajot attended Monetteville Public School. We had made our presentation there to the entire school. Joan Mercer did it. We have now received that presentation back from our translators. When we get our tree seedlings, we will be hitting Saint Antoine and French River High School. And doing the same thing. And our subcommittee for Earth Day will be meeting pretty well monthly, just to keep on top of things for next year. And my Leafs lost last night. That is all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Bob. Counselor Will,
I have nothing to add at this time.
Mayor Pejot.
I just have one. Thank you for passing the proclamation for Seniors Month. So on June 1st, so everybody mark your calendars. There will be an activity honoring all the seniors in the French River area. This year it's being held at the church in Noelville. And there'll be games for the seniors, as well as a special guest speaker to talk about Alzheimer's disease. So that'll be very interesting. And then we'll be honoring, we'll be honoring 7 seniors in our area, and it's public now. So they are Albert Dupuis from Noelville, Robert Chartrand from Noelville, Linda Nadon from Noelville, Denis Prévost from Noelville, Robert Quesnel from Monetteville, Richard Bisaillon from Albin, Suzanne Bisaillon from Albin, and Suzanne Lamondin from Albin. And so they will be honored with special certificates. The MPs have been invited. Hopefully they'll be able to attend. If they can't attend, I know that they will be presenting them with special scrolls in their honor. So I would like council to attend so that we can help serve the lunch along with our firefighters. And I contacted the OPP today, so they're trying to work it out, and we'll get our first, our paramedics to do, they loved, seniors like having their blood pressure taken and oxygen levels. So we'll see if they can come. So it'll be a nice celebration for our seniors.
Thank you, Mayor Pejot.
Yeah, it's for lunch. So for our job here, yeah, it'll be lunch. So if everybody can get there for about 11:30, and it'll be the lunch will be between 11:30 and 1 o'clock.
Okay, Counselor Dean. Put your mic on.
You've heard my topic already today, but I want to add something kind of interesting. I got an email from the medical officer of health. Maybe others got it too, but I just got this email yesterday saying that it was time for me to get my next booster shot for COVID. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And they said that you've had 6 months since you've had your last one. So it's time to get another one, and we urge you to do it. Seniors, especially over 65, they're saying, she adds to that we're more vulnerable at a more advanced age than younger people. But just thought I'd mention that, because I don't know whether everybody got an email like that or whether you will be getting it if maybe you're just not old enough.
I think you're in a class of your own, Dean.
Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Counselor Dave.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have anything today.
Okay, for me, you guys did a great job, Bob, on Earth Day. A lot of people commented. I wasn't part of it. I wasn't able to attend, but I know when I was working at the SO, and people would come in and say how it was great and it was amazing and you needed a bigger room. So that was good news, and the people that participated, they were quite happy also. So it was a good initiative. To somebody else's junk is somebody else's treasure, kind of a thing, they say. So a good way to recycle and move stuff around. So thank you very much to you and your team. Beautiful weather is coming, we hope. So we will be getting our flowers at the French River Gardens. They have worked out a deal with us, which is great news moving forward. So we were able to set aside. So hopefully June 1st, our baskets will be up about a week before Bob delivered all our baskets. So we are in the in the midst of filling them up with dirt and getting everything ready. So the next few weekends we'll be working around the area with the volunteers and getting everything ready and beautiful for our summer. So yeah, so that was great news. So it's nice. And that's about it for me. I don't know, Mark, did you have any comments? No? The staff, do you guys have any comments for us? No? Audience?
Wednesday, 17, is the 50 years that senior club of French River.
Wow.
So we're celebrating it, we're sending out invitations to all the seniors that are out of town. There will be a meal at the big hall. So, and, hopefully there'll be different people coming to eat. So you're probably already aware of it.
Oh.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know that this is June of that is a senior month, but this is a special event, so you can come out.
Oh, that is a
Thank
great
you.
event.
For Earth Day.
Yes. I, go ahead, Bob.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Yes, Dennis, we had that comment, but that I will take responsibility. For the first one, I'd rather have a small hall that's overflowing than a big hall that's half empty. Next year, we're already looking at our ACC in Albin. The hall in Albin will be ready, so we will probably be having it there. So yes, and on that day, if we would have been on the arena floor, it would have been very cool also, so. But it has been noted. Thank you. I even bought a boomerang.
Go ahead.
Thank
Mark?
you, through you, Madam Chair. I just been informed that our street sweeping contractors are supposed to commence street sweeping on Monday.
Is it too late, Mark? Was it quiet enough to sweep? I was wanting to do this. We want it wet so we don't freeze. Oh, okay. That's good.
All right, so well, I think that's great that it's 50 years. We've had the seniors activities in the area. That means a lot of volunteers throughout the years. So it's nice to see that is being kept up and it's active. So to everybody who's played a part in that, thank you very much. And I believe that's all for our announcements, but we are going to go into closed session now. So we need a mover and a seconder to go into closed session. So Counselor Dave and Counselor Bob.
So it's duly moved and seconded. Be resolved that the meeting be closed as authorized in the municipal act pursuant to section 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations with respect to human resources matters.
So for those of you who are watching online, we will go into closed session and we will return after that to finish the meeting. So if you guys want to stay, you can and wait. Hey, welcome back. I need a mover and a seconder to go back into regular meeting. So Counselor Dave and Counselor Dean. Okay, we are good. 12.3, a resolution to, oh, we already did that. I guess just a mover and a seconder for the adjournment. Nope. Oh, I'm going back up. Oh, yes, I see it. A resolution to adopt the confirmation bylaw. I need a mover, Counselor Bob, Counselor Roger. And a resolution to adjourn. Counselor Dave, Counselor Dean.